All right. Hello, hello. Welcome everyone back to another edition of the Happy Hour show with some familiar faces and kind of one that we've had on this summer down there in the bottom right, Mr. Wake Up Hex. Peter, how you doing?
Hex. I'm fine. Just few more hours till I get to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, glad
I decided to spend it with these fine gentlemen.
Unless we put you to sleep.
Choice, sir.
By these fine gentlemen, you mean myself and Mr. Randy Hilarski right below me. So, how you doing, Randy?
Doing good.
Welcome back. Got plenty to talk about. And Mr. Motley Investor right over there, Big K. How y'all doing?
Good.
Very good.
Motley's a little tired from talking crypto all night, but you know that's a pass on this show.
That's what we do.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. So I don't know, man. Aside from drama and all that stuff, which we really don't like to pay attention to here, it's still a bear market. We don't have a ton to talk about. I mean, there's always, some stories out there, which we'll get into. But Randy, I just wanted to, welcome you back first. You've been streaming. I think you're doing like a 30-night stream. Is that right? So can you tell us a little bit about that to start?
Yeah, sure. Countdown to Shemitah, September 26th is the final night of Shemitah. Actually ends on the 27th. But it's interesting.
We'll find out more later.
Yeah, I'm learning tons of stuff, and I'm sharing that with everybody. So it's a cool journey. It's like a forced education for myself that I get to share with everybody else.
Yeah, and it's really cool. I mean, there's so many different schools of thought. So you have, I'm sure, I haven't seen every stream, but I'm sure you have people who just come in and be like, "Oh, this is a bunch of crap," or just skeptics, and then also full believers in it, and people like me who are just like, it's incredible to see some of the I guess the price chart over the years and the 7-year cycles. Like there's something to that, right? So it's like it's for every 7-year cycle to have at least some sort of event. It's believe it or not, I find it highly more than coincidental.
It gives me chills. I just got chills.
But we could, Randy's going to take us, through some of that a little later. So yeah, that's cool. What time is it over there, Peter?
It's 11:10 p.m.
All right,
so
that's not too bad.
Wow, we're gonna put you to sleep.
That's not the first time this show's done that. So.
Depends on how boring we are tonight.
And I guess what's everybody drinking? Red Squirrel wants to know. Get the rum out. Yes, it is. Actually, it's non-alcoholic. No smoking or drinking on any streams.
What?
Oh no, never mind.
Stay unwrecked, everyone. Stay unwrecked.
I had some of that Celsius in the fridge, and I reached for LaCroix and said, but I also think we might get into a little of this Scorpion mezcal that I got here. So if you're looking to, hopefully we don't get to the bottom. I might have to eat the scorpion in the bottom there.
Is there stuff in there?
Oh yeah, there's a.
All right, here. Well, hold on. Let me bring you up here.
Wait, I might. Oh wait.
Where is the little guy? Where is that little bastard? He's in there. There he is. You see him down there. Look at that little fucker. He didn't make it. He didn't make it so that we could. Cheers, everyone.
Beautiful.
Yeah, you had to disinfect.
Some of the best mezcal that's out there is like, it's not the smokiest stuff. It's like, it's not as smoky as some you'd think. And it looks like it's like in the cheapest, like most generic bottles around. But man, I went and tried. When I was down in Mexico, I tried maybe like 10 different kinds, and that was the fire.
Yeah, my buddy in Mexico, he's a collector of mezcal, and he goes down to the areas where I can't remember the areas, but he sells it all over the place. He lives in San Miguel. He's got a huge backyard area, like a barn full of mezcal.
Yeah.
What do we have here, Motley?
So normally I'm always jealous because Big K always brings up like fancy bottles of stuff, and I never have anything. Or if I do, it's like Tito's or probably like Captain Morgan. But Awesome Hexagon brought me this as like kind of a housewarming gift when we had a nice little Hexagon hangout the other day. So I have this fine bottle of, I don't even know, Comos tequila, and it's freaking delicious. Like this is like borderline sipping tequila. So I'll try some of this because I want to try to stand up with Big K for once. And I only get to do that at the luxury of another Hexagon because usually I'm just grabbing, your basic stuff off the shelf.
And while you're pouring, we have been raided by DJ Cryptomatic. And so Crossland over there teaching me about the value of Omaha grass-fed beef. Learn a lot in the DJ Cryptomatic pregame suite. How's that tequila, Motley?
It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Nice, very nice.
I got apple cider vinegar and water since I'm still under the weather.
All right, Jack Lemmons.
I mean, that's good for you, man.
Yes.
Keeps you fresh.
I still want to do that, but I just haven't.
I have Virtutas mineral water.
That bottle looks pretty sick.
So European of you.
And we'll say hello to everyone in the chat. Camera, Bufo, Mango Junkie, Monica, gentlemen, hello and happy Friday. Happy Friday to you.
What's up, everyone?
Crypto Cashew, a lot of Shemitah talk in the chat. Yeah, we will certainly get to that. Wendy's, I guess, looks forward to that. Shemitah this. Blaine, Dan Smith, Russ. What's up, everybody? Footsteps, I see you. Blue Bum, what's going on, man? I take it you're still on your way to Vegas via automobile, possibly. But yeah, so we got that going on. I guess on Monday, a lot of Hexagons going out to Vegas. That'll be really cool, making the most of what could have been a debacle, but in true Hexagon fashion, everybody came together and has actually put together what looks to be an awesome week. So I'm really excited for everybody that's going out there. I think you guys are going to have so much fun, like different events and party your face off, I think, for 4 days straight. 3 days straight. So
I want to see who wins the golf tournament.
Yes, I'm super interested in that, and saw the pulse balls that were made up for it. Very excited.
Yeah, they look so good.
Are they the black balls?
I think they're blue, actually.
No, they are the blue balls.
Okay. The hex balls are the black balls.
Okay.
And then Marco the Hexagon also, like, he engraved some tees or whatever with like hex.com 30 APY, so those were really cool.
Those look sweet.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, just, like I said, a few topics we can go over and cover this week. One, I know, Randy, you had mentioned this on one of your streams, so I guess I'll just bring it up. And I'm not sure if this is the article, but it's the same subject matter, just dirty stuff. It's, kind of goes with the wild, wild west of crypto. And that's this AVAX nonsense.
Let me tell you what. I mean, to be fair though, the dude that Emin, that's like the AVAX guy. I met him out in Tokyo, and like, I mean, he's was firmly in that the Bitcoin Cashy camp of like, the ones that were like that are like very cool with regulation, not just like very cool with regulation, but are like, yeah, like, I mean, I'm not surprised that like they're into weaponizing it against their competitors. I'm just not.
I don't like those kind of people. Nope.
Yeah.
I was like, we all went to lunch, and we were at lunch news, and like, I was just a wild time because I remember him saying several things similar to this, and how like, basically that they would, happily, along with the CSW narrative of like, we'll litigate against people who don't want to follow our version of blockchain, and you're like, I was like, gross. This is
our version of a decentralized platform.
Yeah, that's like the hill you want to stand on, huh? Like,
the ultimate oxymoron.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't. Yeah. It's not. I don't put it past them.
And what I found incredibly rich about this, if you go down here a little bit, there's a tweet from somebody, not that one, but this guy.
Hey.
This is wild. Not sure if this is true, but assuming the videos are not deepfake, and of course, Binance was a target, we are not even a competitor. So here's this guy who censors coins on his platforms, and now he's mad that somebody's coming after him. Incredibly rich. It's just you can't make this stuff up sometimes.
I mean but I mean, as somebody who's in his position, I would be stoked that the fire is being set over somewhere else, or I'm paying attention somewhere else. I'd be the same. I'd be like, "Whoa, how dare they?" Gasp. So yeah, I get it. I mean, that's pretty good. But anyone who's been around long enough knows a little better than that.
True that. So that is that there. What else? Just I guess other community news. Got the Maddie had his stream. I think it was on Tuesday. We can just go around the room and
that was fun.
Talk about his. I like the way that he did it. 3 different panels, got a lot of feedback.
I mean, I'll be honest. I was less excited about that because when Maddie told me about it, he was like, "Hey, we're gonna do this thing at 8:30," and I was like, "So super cool." And then when I realized that I wasn't on until like 10:30 or whatever. That's the last one.
Not like the reveal. So like everything's has already been talked about.
I was zoned out by the last one. After the premise is like, all right, the coins are locked up, and it's like, oh, we're gonna talk about this for 3 panels for 3 hours. I'm like, ooh.
It was cool. I should have rephrased that. It's cool to get everybody's take on it, but I agree it could only been like an hour.
Fun, and it was fun getting everybody together too. Like I get it too. Like I mean, I was jumping on stream with a bunch of cats that I hadn't been in a room with for a minute. It's always fun. I mean, that's good stuff.
So I guess I'll just throw it around the room. I had mentioned it on stream. I kind of liked Motley's idea, and I'll get into I guess just why I liked it really quick, but. Like the idea in itself is, to save yourself, to lock up your coins and, use it as a mechanism to do that. And maybe it will help you be more diamond handed. Where I'm a skeptic is who's actually going to do that and or follow through with it. Like to me, there has to be some incentive. It can be just like, oh, okay, well, I can put them in this lockbox, but I can also take them right back out whenever I want, kind of thing. So Motley had mentioned, and I'll let him fully explain his little idea there, but it was like the concept of using maybe the 1% fee as distributed, or maybe I'm butchering it, but I'll let him speak on that. But something like a carrot on a stick to really push this, because I think I think the rewarding of behaviors, I all about it. I think it's an excellent idea. I want everybody to follow that philosophy and ideal, but it's like, how do we get people to use this and follow through? Like I like pushing it for the firewall security feature. I thought that was awesome. Maybe that can get more people aware about it, and maybe once that brings them in. But I'm just trying to find another way for people to actually take the next step and actually lock them up. So I'll leave it to you on that, Molly.
Yeah, so I think you summed it up pretty well. My biggest issue is just like incentivizing it, like you said. You can have a great concept, great idea, great product, but if no one's incentivized to use it, like Richard says all the time, like it could just sit there on the shelf and collect dust. So like you could have that good product, and no one. The problem is, right? Like look at the situation we're in now. Like PulseChain launches, like we've been waiting on this thing for over a year. We're going on 2 years now. You finally get your coins, and Maddie's product is like, hey, let's lock those up again. People are just not going to do it, even though it's a good idea. It's a good concept. It'll probably make you a lot more money because people want their coins. They want the price tag. They want to be able to go play in the new playground. We've only had Hex this entire time, so they have these new coins. They want to go try them out. They want to go earn yield. The funny thing is, even them going in to earn yield with those coins potentially is going to get them into a lot of trouble because people don't know what they're doing with liquidity providing. They don't know the impermanent loss, fees. Like they can wreck themselves just as easily, especially if they're trying to do this stuff early on and they've never done it before. it's so volatile. It's going to be, people are going to lose a lot of coins and they're not even going to realize it. So the product itself has a perfect market fit. I think literally the only thing that's missing is the incentivization. So yeah, like you mentioned, the 1% fee, you could do it like we saw it with Alex's WAATSA NFTs, like almost like a last man standing. Like the longer you stay in, the more percentage you get of everyone that's come in and put the 1% fees. Like that's cool. It gamifies it. It gives you financial incentive. And like you said, it leads someone to good behaviors with a carrot. Now, without that, I don't think the product gains enough traction, and it's a good product. So I'd like to see it. I was kind of surprised that he didn't seem as receptive to adding a incentivizing like factor to it, which was kind of surprising to me. So I hope he reconsiders it, because I would like to see that product get used more. And I don't think you get that without actually offering that incentive. So that's kind of how I felt on the whole situation.
100%. I mean, more coins, good. And even from my standpoint, like I get like Papa Boner and I talked about it at length in our session that like I know better. Like I am very adept at understanding what the hell it takes to like set up wallets, be secure with your private keys, all that kind of thing, right? And even though I know better, and this is something that has functionality that I like in my mind, in my human, going back in like reality as me as a human, the idea that I'm going to click as many buttons as it's going to take to make as many wallets in like 2 separate locations and 2 separate, like all these different things that we went through and like how to actually make it properly secured. I'm like, it's a daunting task for someone that gives a shit about security. Now imagine for the general public who like are adverse to pressing even the first 35 buttons that it takes to set up your Trezor. I mean, like now you're talking about 2 of these and all this different shit that people are like, what the, like it really is. You need incentive there. I need incentive, and I know it's good. I know it's good. I know
Exactly.
It's better. I still need incentive. Like, please help me help myself.
Perfect example from you guys. The other day, I had to set up a Syscoin wallet, and I'm like, oh, shit, I have to do this again. I go down and write down all the. I'm like, what the hell, man? Again? So
I still have some Monero locked up in a wallet. There's such a pain in the ass for me to recreate my wallet. Shit.
Oh, those are awful.
It's just like a fucking. It's just like a relic that exists there. It's cool. Like I could figure it out. I'm not going to though.
Time is valuable.
Yeah. It is what it is. I mean, and that's tough to like realize that there's rub in things like that you can't like unless you find some way to like force people to want to care. That like even like I said, I know it's better, and I'm still probably not gonna do it.
I mean that was the thesis of Hex. Like it just led us all to good habits and behavior just by the design and the incentives that were in place. I think Maddie's product has a potential along those lines. You just have to make sure all the pieces are there.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, everybody wants that. That's why cell phone video games get played a lot. It's because people want that something. They want that instant gratification. If we can figure a way into that, then for sure. I think it's awesome. I think there's a lot of it that's super useful in general. And like when we started to talk about the potential for his product to be used in estate planning and charitable, family charitable trusts and things like that. It's got even more potential, it really does, because it's stuff that I think that smart contract, like I had said before, that like when I started telling people about smart contracts like 2-3 years ago and Hexeter, like I used those basic financial tools. I was like, hey, have you ever heard of an escrow? Well, now you could do that with a smart contract, and you don't need some asshole holding your money. And like people can understand that pretty easily. But like, is that something that's available to me or most people like right now with a couple clicks of a button on Ethereum or anything? Not really, Yeah. So if somebody had financial planning tools built into something like this that was, point and click style shit, that's powerful. That's super powerful. I don't know if you would need the same incentivization for that to be used. I mean, again, it's still niche though. It's not like you're going to gain 1 million users doing that kind of thing.
It's very niche, probably not a lot of profit in it, but with these like encapsulations and wrappers, like it does afford you that opportunity to safeguard your wealth or transfer your wealth to future generations. So I like that idea.
Yep.
Peter, did you check out that unveil/reveal, or have you seen it? Know anything about it? Care to comment on it?
I came not prepared.
You're probably
unprepared
asleep.
here. Yeah.
It's quite all right.
Yeah, I'm just looking around. What the hell? I just. Okay. But
Check out
I knew that
Maddie's stream on Tuesday, I think. So there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I knew he's working on something. The one feature I heard about was that if someone wants to hack your wallet, then there would be some bot that takes all the hackers' ETH and.
So what it is it's kind of like a Gnosis safe, but like with more features, basically. Where the idea would be that if you put in a secondary wallet address, then when you untime lock your coins, because it's like a time locking feature without payment, basically, like you just like lock for the because you think it's better for yourself, which is a tough sell. But the idea is that when you unlock, even if you lock it for 10 minutes, you have a 7-day period that you have to unlock, that you have to wait to unlock these coins. And in that 7-day period, anybody, the hacker or you or whoever, could activate the switch to send those coins to a different wallet instead. So like the hacker wouldn't do it, but like you could if you knew that wallet wasn't compromised. Now, again, like I had said, to set up 2 wallets like that is different computers, different internet connections, different places and time, different locations. There's a lot of different things that you have to think about to make sure that you're entirely secure and both those keys are not compromised.
A lot of preparation, a lot of effort. That's why I think the incentivizing it's so important.
Yeah.
Because we want those good behaviors.
But I mean, it has a lot of potential features. Like I was saying, like you could pay out different wallets at different times for different reasons and estate planning style stuff.
Yeah, I think you said like a drip, right? Like you could set up almost like your own drip. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, there's definitely things that I think are cool about it. But I think people would, if it's that useful and you can make it easy for people, then yeah, people would pay the incentive or would like to earn the incentive to make it. I think that people would do that. But I mean, people are walking around with their phones trying to earn crypto, doing proof of jogging or some dumb shit right now. I mean, I saw a video of they're like, well, you're out there jogging around trying to make crypto. This guy's doing this, and it's just like 75 phones on like a paint agitator, just like making all the fucking coins. Yeah, so I mean, it's all that stuff's funny to see.
I mean, crypto in mobile phones, the most unsecure device. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's tough because but that's what when you run into somebody and you want to like get it to them here. This is
that's what the new no coiners want, unfortunately. But yeah,
you have to be like, here, I'm giving you this, but also this is all wrong. So
yeah, so like finding solutions to make something more secure, even if being accessed from a phone, would be good for the future of crypto. I think because I mean. As much as it sucks, like that's just the reality we got to face. The younger generations, like that's what they want. You're gonna lose them if you have to be like, oh, you got to get a dedicated computer device. And I agree, you should, but if we can make the phone better, that'd be optimal. I think Gnosis Safe is working on stuff like that, so that's good.
Yep. All right, Randy. Well, we've open the show for about 20 some minutes here. I wanted to bring you on this week. One, because you're such an excellent co-host while Vince was out there for a while. So you're welcome back, of course, anytime, because Vince is, of course, busy tonight. So
Sludge.
Shout out, Vince.
Have you seen the Hedron price? That's why he's busy.
Yeah.
A lot of minting.
How many?
Wait, why did
Toyotas
it just
does
go
he
down?
want?
Okay, no. What's that?
How many Toyotas does he need?
Well, I don't think he's even gotten the first super yet, so gotta get that one in.
Yeah. But
I have to admit that right after I tweeted, make sure you take profits. I didn't say any projects. I said bull market tip, make sure you take profits. Within 5 minutes, big red candle on Hedron. But it wasn't me. I wasn't at the computer.
Wasn't me. We have further to go in the
now it's
Hedron
back
run.
up, but
Plenty further, I believe.
Yes.
We got 70 something days still.
Yeah. And that's exciting. We're going to talk about Hedron and ICOSA here in a little bit. Randy, I just started to talk about. I mentioned earlier in the show. You're doing 30 days of streaming on your channel. I think that's at 11 p.m. Eastern.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so that's right. So check out Randy over there. But the reason that he's doing it is really cool. So you could be a believer in some of the thinking. You could, be totally against it, or you could have an open mind and notice a lot of the timing of events, that he goes into. But I'll just open it up to you, Randy, to explain what I'm talking about on the surface, and you can dive in.
All right. So there's this very important cycle that happens every 7 years. It's called Shemitah. And on the 7th year is the year of rest, or the release in the Jewish religion. And this goes back thousands and thousands of years. This is something that's been going on forever. And if you go into, we're talking finance right now, it's traditionally known as something with farming. You let the farm rest for 1 year, and you rest. Debts are forgiven. People are told, it's time to relax. Well, during those times, the financial markets also take a hit traditionally, going all the way back as far as we could remember taking history. And here's the 7-year cycle. First one is 2001. What did we have in 2001? We had 9/11. We also had the stock market collapse with the dot-com bubble. 2008, we had the real estate collapse, along with, I think it was a 45% dip in the stock market the day of Shemitah, the actual day when it ended. I was living with my best friend, Mike, at the time. I had just gone through a divorce and stuff, and I was moving back from Tampa. It was like weird time in my life, and I was jobless, and I was sitting and watching CNBC all day long. So I remember this one vividly. Everything. They couldn't explain it. Everyone on CNBC said, "Oh, what's going on? What's going on? This makes no sense. Why is the market tumbling?" Tumbled about 45% that day. Then 2015, it was actually the biggest problem was in China. There was a huge financial crash in China that year. And we also had, I think it was a 15% dip in the stock market exactly on Shemitah, which was, on the day of on the calendar. It's not the same day every 7 years because they use a different calendar.
Was the whole Brexit fiasco around then as well?
I can't remember.
Might have been.
I can't remember. It sounds like it. Well, yeah, I don't recall. I don't remember what the exact dates were.
2015. I think
That would be Brexit, right? Yeah. So, it was a pretty rough day in the markets. I don't remember what happened with crypto though, because I was still pretty new to crypto, even though I got in 2014 January. Shemitah would have been September. The end of Shemitah would have been September 2015, and I was working for Jeff Berwick. And that's why I really got into the Shemitah thing, is because Jeff was talking about it at that time, Dollar Vigilante. He was the first person I heard it from. And even though I grew up in the church, as an evangelical church, I never really heard the term until Jeff brought it to my attention. So when this time came along, this 7-year cycle, I knew that last September it was the beginning of the Shemitah, but nothing really happens in the beginning of the Shemitah. Stuff starts happening throughout the year. And this year is getting rougher and rougher. We had the invasion of Ukraine. We've had talk of CBDCs launching soon. We have the food crises, the farmers protesting. We've got Sri Lanka. What happened in Sri Lanka where they destroyed the government, took over the palace. There's a lot of big stuff happening this year, and it's all culminating here at the end. And the end is September 26th, going into evening of the 27th. And then after that, we have something called Jubilee year. So this year is actually way more important than the other Shemitahs because we have an extra year tagged on, the 50th year. So it's 7 years times 7 is 49 years. And then you have one more year after that, and it's called the Jubilee year. So this one's even more important. And the last time we had a Jubilee year, we had the end of the gold standard. So 1973 was the end. They announced it in 1971. 1973 was the end of the gold standard. So Bretton Woods Agreement happened. The U.S. was no longer backed by gold, the U.S. dollar. What is happening this time? The Jubilee year is coming. It's no longer a typical fiat currency. We're moving to a CBDC, central bank digital currency. So I think that's going to be the big news of 2023. But before we get there, we have to get through the end of Shemitah. I don't know what's going to happen. Just be prepared. I am, before I was telling people I was in stablecoins, I'm actually going to go to currency. I'm actually going to take money out and go to currency for a couple months during this time frame. Tonight, I'm going to discuss what's going on with the Vatican. I don't know if you guys have seen the news that the Vatican came out with. They said to have all monies that belong to the Vatican back in the Vatican vaults by September 15th. So that's pretty big news. These are things, and the reason why I'm saying and telling you guys this stuff is because our generation, or the last couple generations, we've lost touch with the religious beliefs that our forefathers had. And even though we don't believe them, we're not living our lives based on the religious cycles that our forefathers did. There's a lot of people that still do. And as I was telling Peter earlier in the green room, the people that control the financial markets are the people that still believe in this stuff. So I follow what they follow. That's it.
And there you go. And I brought up a more updated chart to reflect the missing green circle there at the end. And of course, lo and behold, we've had, pretty much a dip all year. So that, I guess, leads into the question, when bottom, Randy? Is it September 26th? Is it October, November 2023? I know this is just more speculation now, but what are you thinking? We've all, had theories on this and picked some dates on this show. I think fall of this year has been a consensus with some of the smart people so. I follow in this community, but what do you think?
Well, I think that we're very close. Hex they already did the 95% dip, right? So I don't think Hex is going to be much more than 95% dip. And there's particular reasons why it won't, because we have people who won't allow it to dip much further. People who are lining up to buy up the dip, right? But when it comes to Bitcoin, you also have the upcoming 140,000 coins coming to market with Mt. Gox. And with a typical stock market, this winter with all the issues in Europe with shortages of gas out of Russia, and there's so many things culminating that could really crush the next 6 months or so.
The ETH 2.0 merge, sell the news event on that coming out, or if that even gets delayed, I think either way it's going to be price negative.
I'm a big believer in buy the rumor, sell the news.
Yeah,
and if it was me, I'd be selling a couple, 5, 6 a week before.
Front run it.
Yeah, I'd have to front run it. Just like if I would have followed Randy's advice, I'm going to talk in the third person here, because the old Randy, when it came to big payday, would have sold everything about a week before big payday. And if I would have waited a lot more money. I would have a lot more Hex right now if I would have followed my own advice and bought back on the dip. But instead, I just had all my stuff staked, and I didn't do the old Randy style. But this time I am prepared.
It's not a bad hedge. You don't have to go full bore, but like Dixon Piper brought up a good point on this is, as these markets mature, people front run it more and more and more, right? Like, so by the time like you're getting ready to sell your bags, like the market's already in the process of dumping on you.
Yeah. Be careful out there, folks.
Yeah, I wanted to.
So Randy,
I
have
go ahead,
questions if I can. So the Shemitah marks an end of the 7th year. So
it's the last whole year. It started last September. It's ending on September 27th.
Okay. All right. So basically that should be the bottom, right?
It should be, but we have a different catalyst this year. We have the extra year, the 50th year, because it's the end of 7 years of 7, which equals 49 years. So this is an extra year.
Okay. And the 50th year ends also on September.
1 year. Next September.
Next September. Okay, so
you got a 1 year window of pain potentially.
All right.
I was gonna say it's not in my mind. It's not so much when bottom, but like if you look at the market cycle that we've done, in the past 2 bull runs, 2017, 2013, those different ones, like the same, like. Okay, 2017 happened. We had a blow off top. 2018 was all down. 2019 was sideways. with the fake pump up and down. 2020 was like up. If you remember, like that was when we had the DeFi summer and we were like, whoa, what's going on here? But it wasn't the exponential gains of 2021. So like let's play that game out again. 2022 all down, right? 2023 sideways. 2024, hey, look, something's happening here. Until 2025, you might see exponential bull run. Is that what anybody wants to hear on anywhere? No, probably not. But like that's just what happened twice before. So
yeah,
like
people don't understand when just because of the bottom end doesn't mean it's just like all up in glory from there. Like it's usually long, drawn out, tiresome, and painful for potentially another
a lot of
year
times you don't know the bottom is there until after the fact.
I think about it like this.
Like, that was it.
We hit the bottom and last time, and then when 2019 was like, we did a whole run of sideways before we hit the bottom again when COVID happened. Like we almost like it almost double tapped the same bottom spot, that a year later, so like it's tough to say. It's tough to say when you'll actually see the next exponential rise. But if you look at the past couple times over, give it more than a year, guys. Just.
Yeah. From my experience, the bottoms in crypto take forever.
Mm-hmm. So that's why everybody leaves and gets bored and goes somewhere and does something else. I mean, you even remember there's like lots of the influencer dudes who in this last bull run were like are the ones that were around the previous one in 2017. Like they did other shit on their channels, and if they were doing stuff, otherwise they were reviewing fucking motorcycles or doing other stupid shit. They like
that's why Hex is such a gift, right? Because like you can earn yield this whole time. You don't even have to introduce new capital. Like you have the ability to stake and endure these markets because you can still earn a great yield going through it.
And because you're in the yield and you're locked up and you're invested in the time and energy and effort in it, like you still have incentive to be onboarding people at the right time. Because like
you got your finger on the pulse.
Yeah, so like right now when we're at lows, we're still onboarding people heavily, whereas in the previous runs, other influencers who saw the end come disappeared and stopped onboarding people to anything, whether it was good or bad, and so that doesn't help, so I think that especially at the best time when like would be the best time for those people to be onboarding and to be telling people the most boring.
Their business model is YouTube, not crypto, so. When the bull market's over, their business market dries up. So that's why.
Affiliate links. Yeah, that's kind of sad.
My theory is, during the bear market, you just keep accumulating, and sooner or later the bottom's going to hit. And when the Aurochs indicator goes green on the monthly, then you sit back and you're like, I'm all set. And then you get to watch the fireworks for the next 2 years.
Yeah. It's just it's like get as many coins as possible. That's it.
Yeah.
Wendy's has said it on here a bunch, and other streams, dollar costs with the name dollar cost. Like, what else is he gonna say? But it's like now's the time. I think he was on stream last night. This is the time when you work for that fiat to put it to work for you. It's gonna work out nicely, historically speaking, and a few years down the road.
Don't get greedy with your DCA positions either. Like we are at very good prices here. Yes, you could see another 50% down, give or take, but these are good prices. Like this is where you want to start moving in and dollar cost averaging as you go, because next cycle comes, like these will be outstanding prices. Like you'll kill to go back and say, man, I wish I bought that 4-cent hex, or I wish I bought that whatever. I don't even know what it
will all seem great when you're at $2+. Like it's just it won't really matter.
And to answer Randy for crypto, DJ Cryptomatic says if 2015 was the last one, then Bitcoin had a 50% drop that year.
See, there we go.
There you go.
I know because I bought in January 2014 at 450, and I remember going down to about 250 before it started going back up again.
Yeah, that's I can remember it being at like in 2016 when I first started like mining Monero. I remember seeing it was like 283, and I remember yelling at my wife and being like, I missed it. I can't believe I missed it. How did I not know about this shit? How did I not? I'll never forget that. And I was like, no, I didn't miss shit.
We didn't miss anything. Yeah.
I don't even remember what I was doing in 2015. Look at those two OGs.
So you're saying you weren't in crypto? I mean, I had yet to get
No.
in crypto too.
Yeah, at that time, no.
Yeah, 2017 is when my eyes were opened and I took the leap. I brought this chart up in particular. I know this is traditional markets, but like it or not, crypto does follow traditional markets. This
It's
is
not long.
this is the weekly on the S&P, going back to 2000, and I took the 40-week moving average, and that's kind of seen as like a proxy for cyclical trends, and put that against the 200-week, which is a proxy for secular trend. So the secular trend, usually lasts longer over time, and as you can see, that secular trend from pretty much 2012, late 2011, has remained intact with the exception of COVID in 2020. And the cyclical trends have pretty much, been held up by that 40-week over time. And right now we're kind of, under that 40-week, we're right smack dab in the middle, really. So the 40-week, served as resistance there just, a couple weeks back, really. So we're kind of right in the middle of that range. So could we go down to 3,600 or below? Sure, absolutely. And could we blast right through it, spike right through it like we did in 2020? Sure. But I mean, this is also to offer like a little bit of hope as well. So it's not all doom and gloom. Yeah, we're right in the middle of this range. Yeah, we can go lower. I think we could at least test the bottom. But at the same time, over history, I mean, this is like 10 plus years we've been pretty much mostly above the 200. So it's not all doom and gloom. And once we passed that double top that we had in 7, we passed that in 2013. It was off to the races. So it's not everything is straight up, but this is not all bad out there. This will end eventually. So just wanted to bring that one up. But
so if people are thinking, when's the bottom? If you want to be as bearish as possible, it's through to this time next year. So we have another year of bearishness. That's my opinion.
That's not to say that there's not things that can do well in the midst of a bear market. I mean, we're watching Hedron do some make some impressive maneuvers.
It's like that diamond in the rough to crypto that like no one outside of our community even knows about. It's crazy.
Yeah, you're like, but Hedron's pumping, and 99.
They're like, what is Hedron?
No, but someone tweeted today. There's a whole bunch of new addresses in Hedron. People are starting to show up.
There's a YouTuber that I've seen that's like he's like specifically just focusing on Hedron, the ICOSA system, and I've never seen him before in the Hex community whatsoever. And like he's just like turned his whole channel into nothing but like Hedron and ICOSA. And I was just like, who is this guy? Like pretty well produced, like
with the dark
channel
background?
and everything.
The guy with the dark background.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I watched one of his last night. I never seen him before.
Never seen him before in my life, and now he's just like solely on Hedron and ICOSA. I was like, interesting.
He's got like 13,000 ICOSA. I'm like,
Yeah.
what, bro? Where'd you get that from?
We'll have to chat with him or something. Sometime like, where'd you come from, bro? I'm curious.
Yeah. There's definitely some cool stuff that's I will say that ecosystem, the other one that we're going to chat about too, there's a few different things that are coming about that are cool. There's cool stuff that I felt like the same thing in the bear market last time. Like I remember following Richard and being like, this is cool stuff, this could be something cool, and like thinking there's something here, but like knowing that like it's like you said, it's not all just a one-way ticket upward, and it's gonna take shit like that, like people that are totally adverse to our community that find these projects and then in turn help to build it bigger with a different community we weren't expecting. So yeah, it's pretty damn cool.
My buddy who I got into Hex, we staked it with Hedron.pro when he did his Hex stakes and HSIs. And he saw his Hedron, he saw how well it was doing. It was really cheap back then, and he loaded up on a shit ton, like over 10 billion. For somebody that's new to crypto, that's a lot of amount for a coin that no one's ever heard of, right? And now he's tweeting me, or not tweeting me, private messaging me. Oh my God, Randy,
Static.
I'm up like 15x. And the next day, I'm up 16x. I'm up 17x. I'm like, bro, take some profits.
Yeah, because it goes back to like what Tendies was talking about when you get in that hype and you're like screenshotting your new all-time highs like every day. It's okay to take just a little off the table. Like I understand where Hedron and everything's going, but it's okay to take a little bit, especially if it's someone new and like you said, bought that much of the coins. Like if you're starting to screenshot and hit up your buddy every day, new all-time
that's
highs,
a good. That's
take a little bit off the table.
10x is a good
advice.
place to take your
your initial
principal back, man. That's
it's tough though too, right? Like if he's new to this or like this is like one of his first big wins, it's hard to get into that mindset of like you have to let some of that coin go. You don't want to. It's hard.
True. I mean, when I was early on in crypto, like in 2017, there's a couple coins that I held that like went. I mean, I'm talking to the fucking moon, like from 10 cents to like 20 something dollars, and then back like, and I had the opportunity to sell and like fucking didn't, and like I'll never forget that shit. They're like just like not making.
You let your emotions take over.
Yeah, you're like we could be at 100 by tomorrow, and like, or we could be back down at 40 cents. Ah, shit, we are.
That experience can mark you for life.
Yes.
Oh, it did for a long time. I mean, and like I had two of them, like one right after the other within like a month period of time, and like there's like a couple months afterwards where I was like, "What are you doing with your life?"
So we have a comment
from
Daniel here in the chat, and this is, a popular way of thinking amongst some because the HSI auction process begins, I think, the 13th of November. So
I could argue both. I could argue both directions on that one.
I didn't even have to open it up. Big K just jumped in. Go.
Sorry. I mean, like I've been thinking about that a bunch. Like the auctions are rolling. So like and you have to pay it with Hedron. So like it incentivizes people that are planning on buying auctions to like a higher price Hedron is probably better for them. So like there's it's not to say that it might not fall off right away because people want to actually complete auctions. Like it really doesn't help if Hedron's like, I mean, if Hedron has a very, very low price, then even more coins will be burnt through this auction system. It'll take a lot of coins to buy back some of these stakes, So like there's, but then on the other hand, what you mentioned earlier is that the more mature these markets get, the more idiots like us get up here and talk about stupid shit like this, the more that people will front run the hell out of you. So like, oh, would it surprise me if 5 days before it starts dumping, like, no, it wouldn't at all. It wouldn't at all. So like it just depends on, there's a lot of things as a play here, just like who wants to pump it up to what prices and who has enough that's sitting on the sidelines waiting to just, that's playing just a speculation game versus staking.
I think you'll see a very similar situation play out to essentially the launch of ICOSA, right? So when ICOSA was announced, we started going on this run with Hedron because it actually makes sense now, guys. Like before, I still argue to this day that Hedron was just mainly built with dumpamentals. But now that you had the feedback loop and ICOSA was launched, even in the worst case, it was a buy the rumor, sell the news event. And as we got close to the ICOSA launch, like to me, it was very clear that Hedron was going to run, and then people were going to take their profits right before, right? And that's pretty much what took place. I think that's going to be the same thing that takes place with this first like 90-day round of auctions. But there's going to be, so you're going to have people probably taking some of their profits, go back into Hex. This is how like this feedback loop works. But then there's still going to be people having a certain reserve of Hedron on the sides because just like Big K said, like we're going into an auction that as of today has over 40,000 T-shares, over 4,000 HSI.
No.
Yeah, it's a large, massive shark position, over 4,000 different stakes. So you have all these different opportunities to win these auctions. Wow. So there's going to be a balancing act of people that, yes, they want to take the profit, but they also want what Hedron's designed for. And this is something else people lose sight of. People are like, I've heard this stupid shit going around about people like, oh, staking, it's not the greatest thing, yada, yada, yada. Hedron's purpose is to buy the max length hex stake. That's it. That's what Hedron does. It buys you these HSIs at auction. That is the purpose of Hedron. So it's going to be interesting to see who's willing to hold on to most of their Hedron bag, and they can significantly increase their T-share position in the ecosystem depending on how these auctions go. And then on top of that, once you get your HSIs, you can keep the T-shares. You can recycle them back into ICOSA, which then you can stake that and get ICOSA and Hedron. Then you can buy more T-shares in the future. Like the system.
I wonder if because of the way it, I'm just on an off. This is a total like slight nuance on things. Because so many people use the Hedron or the ICOSA function when it first came out to make the 40,000, what is less than 2.5 weeks, and we have 40,000
T-shares. Yeah, in a couple.
Okay,
days.
so like, and the majority of those are front loaded at the very beginning of this. So I wonder if because that's those when people
don't give away too much alpha, sir. You know where your mind's going.
Yeah. Motley's probably Wendy's is probably listening. Like, shut up, you.
Yeah, no, he's always blaring at me.
Put Vince in the cage last week.
Vince is worse. Vince is worse.
That's why Vince isn't here with us.
I'm not much better. He's seething in the background right now. So like,
I don't think it's too much alpha to say that this might be a cyclical thing, because like it might be every 90 days. You'll see a chunk of
this will be the largest event, right?
This will be the largest.
This will be the largest because of the creation of ICOSA. But hopefully for this ecosystem that Alex has built, I would like obviously to see this continue, and I think it will potentially have the legs to do so. But these are some of the unknowns, right? It's like how does the auction carry out, and then also as ICOSA inflation comes out, because right now if you follow ICOSA, it is following Hex to the T, right? Like it looks the chart looks beautiful.
You can overlay them.
Oh yeah, overlay. It's absolutely flawless. Now we might see some fluctuations when we start seeing some of this yield come out. But again, what is our community and everyone like? We like staking. We like our passive income. We like our yield. So I'll be curious to just track this as time goes on. But I think there's potential for a lot of great upside for all players. And Hex is at the nucleus of it, right? Like none of the shit runs without Hex. So it's beautiful how this all ties in together.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the staking features were pretty well set up too. I mean, it's like if you're staking more than 1 billion Hedron, then like guess what? You're not going to be able to dump during this event at all, anyways, because like you're locked up for minimum 90 days. So like that's just not a possibility. So like I think that there's a lot to offer. I mean, like the more you research into it, the more it definitely has been super well thought out. So yeah, kudos.
What I think is that the ICOSA and Hedron are the places to get bigger Hex positions, because I'm not sure if you can get a shark position out of the free Hex market.
You have to look at the liquidity, but it's slim to none. You'd have to work at it for a long time with a lot of capital.
And there would be a lot of slippage you have to do.
It's near impossible. But these HSIs and these auctions potentially give you the opportunity for it. And it's kind of a further distribution of Hex too for a lot of the newer guys, because they're able to accumulate Hedron at a lower evaluation. I don't think we've quite seen where Hedron should be like fair market price. So it gives them some upside to potentially get some nice discounted T-shares, which they might not be able to attain. So it's cool.
It's literally like 40,000 T-shares is like 4 shark positions, or like
one massive 40, like megalodon shark.
One the
megalodon of all sharks.
It's very infrequent in Hex that that 4 shark positions are being sold
or up for auction, essentially.
Are available at all. So yeah, you're right, because it's just the liquidity works in the AMMs. You can't even buy 4 sharks worth of.
You push it against yourself way too much.
Guys, I got something to say about this this HSI stake stuff. I was pessimistic in the beginning with HSIs because I figured people would have weak hands and they'd immediately sell their HSIs when the first chance they got. And I was a perfect example. ICOSA came out. What the fuck did I do? I sold all of them for ICOSA. I burnt them all for ICOSA right away. So when I was taking my Hedron over the last couple of weeks and I was swapping it for Hex, I went 55-55 on traditional gohex.com because I cannot. I have weak hands, man. I can't.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's anything wrong with grabbing ICOSA and then staking, because then you just earn more Hedron on ICOSA to essentially buy buy T-shirts on these auctions that you might not be able to get at the same rate.
I agree.
So-
I agree, but I just know me. So
Yeah.
I had to go use the traditional.
And then
coins.
think about this too, is because they do enable. I haven't actually used this feature yet, but they do enable you to essentially borrow on your HSIs, and it doesn't make any sense now with the evaluation of Hedron. But as Hedron rises over time, that could be a very valuable line of credit. Now, again, you have to be careful with that and how you do it, but you could even do something as simple as take your line of credit out. Then you could stake the Hedron and then just pay back the credit that way. So the system is very complex, and there is a barrier to entry when it comes to learning this stuff. But there's a lot of very cool tools that you can use, and to me it's perfect for the bear market too. So hexagons that have idle hands, like you can come in here, learn about this stuff, and there is advantages and opportunities here just due to that barrier of entry of having to really sit down and figure out all the different plays in the system. It is like a next level of hex, because like, I'm not going to lie, like I know the ins and outs of hex perfectly. And like, it's just like, it's boring, right? Like there's nothing new for me to learn. Like Hedron, ICOSA, all that gave me another level to go up, and just something to do in the meantime while I wait for the bull markets to come back around.
And it never hurts to have an awesome performing asset in your portfolio in a bear.
Yes, of course. Like I said, diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
So what do you think the price valuation, like fair price valuation for a Hedron should be?
No idea.
There's some formulas that we discussed with Crypto Sloth last time that explain both like the ICOSA and Hedron like fair market values, and the way that he put
he doesn't like the term fair value.
He likes the term price ceiling, because like I said, it's
with ICOSA that makes sense.
Yeah. ICOSA, well, it does with Hedron too, and like the way he explained it is that like there's a max value that, like, let's say for Hedron's price, where if Hedron's price went to this max value, then like let's say you took out $1,000 HSI stake in hex worth $1,000, but you could take a loan out and mint $1,100 worth of Hedron. Well, that wouldn't make very much fucking sense, because then you could just like feedback loop that shit and arbitrage it down until the price normalizes, because you just go make another fucking stake, So like there is a price ceiling, in hex terms, because like they're related to each other, but that's, I'm pretty sure, still a ways off. Whereas ICOSA is, like you can see by the chart, it's just like it's already hit its ceiling. It's like found it's pretty balanced.
It's how it's designed. But what the beautiful thing about ICOSA is, as long as we'll see as time goes on with inflation and everything like that, how if it still continues to follow well, but if it does,
if it follows hex,
you just have something that follows hex. It's like, what?
Yeah, I mean, if it's a hex derivative that you can also stake to make more of something that is, that follows the price of that. That's double excellent. And all about it.
Price of ICOSA is kind of interesting to me, because I don't think the market participants are counting in the value that staking ICOSA brings, because it seems to be like following hex like to the teeth.
Because at the moment, people
you get Hedron too. It's just like, ooh.
It's like, what?
Yeah. Well, people are mostly concerned about the arbitrage opportunity at the moment between the HSIs and ICOSA minting. But I mean, I think that eventually that'll change. People will do deeper calculations.
It makes no sense to be 1-to-1 if I can stake this and get like 2 more assets, basically from ICOSA.
Seems like a no-brainer, right, Peter?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. No.
But the market decided otherwise.
Mm-hmm. It's the saying about it staying irrational longer than I can stay solvent. So
that's all.
Watch it. Yeah.
Crypto Sloth, who was an awesome guest last week, is in the chat. So I just want to bring up a couple of comments from him. Once the auctions go live, there will be a soft ARB with auctions on the market. Selling it down equals more Hedron burned, because it takes more to get the same dollar value. It can still dump, but that is long-term bullish. We'll need to confirm when we get real burn numbers.
Yeah. Just like anything, the supply going down. what's cool is like this stuff like follows the T-share as well, right? Like, so like when you mint your HSIs, like it's going to go off the T-share rate, like how much ICOSA you can emit. So it's slowly going to go over time. You're going to have these Hedron auctions. 50% of it's going to get burned every time. Like these are rare assets, just like Hex. A lot of people just don't realize it yet.
Well, that's what I thought was really nifty about the whole, like, it's just a different element of, like, it's like NFTs are just a tool. And like the whole idea of an ERC 721 is just the idea of being able to package something else up and offer it in a different way, and so like that's what you're doing with hex stakes and like packaging up monkey pictures that are slightly different from or rock pictures that are slightly different from other rock pictures. Well, you're not really fucking packaging up very much value there, but when you're packaging up like you said, rare and assets that have, are good stores of value, then I think that those types of NFTs do have long-term usability in the market. And like, that's a super useful tool. So nifty.
Yeah. And anyone else see Alex on with Adam Stokes? I thought that was a good interview. He pretty much laid out the thinking of, ICOSA, was kind of like in the works all along, kind of like the whole Star Wars, like the 6 episodes of Star Wars. The thought was there, but only the Hedron part was written, or only the first 3. ICOSA was going to, and that was my own analogy, by the way, but the ICOSA part was always going to come along. But his thought was, hey, there's so many of these free coins that are going to be out there. Let some of the OGs, dilute themselves, if you will, and which I did. I know Motley did. We sold some because who doesn't like free coins, as Big K always says. So
Hedron didn't make sense without ICOSA, in my opinion. And I'll continue to stand by that all day. You people that were all just like bullish on Hedron and didn't know about the second part, I disagree with you. I think you were wrong. I think it had just more fundamentals than it had price positive.
It did.
And until ICOSA came out, it did not make sense. I'm sorry. I think you were 100% wrong. And it's a mute point, right? It doesn't really matter because we have ICOSA now and the feedback loop is complete. But whose argument is supported? Look at the chart, right? Until ICOSA came out, it was nothing but death, going to new all-time lows, had no use case. The auctions, they weren't being stimulated. I know some of the community members let some of their HSIs default to try to trigger the auctions. There was no real interest. You needed something like ICOSA to complete the feedback loop. And according to Alex, he had always designed it in case, but you didn't know about that. You didn't know ICOSA was coming. So in my opinion, the people that were like, oh, I'm super bullish on Hedron, I think you were wrong in the beginning. So, but now ICOSA's out. I love it.
That was always my biggest reason of negativity, was why I was never bullish on because we had talked about wrapped hex stakes. We've been talking about wrapped hex stakes for fucking a while now.
Hex Bay, Firebun, and then Alex is the one that.
And I had said that, like, that if it's just a wrapped hex stake and that's all you're doing, then there's only a finite amount of time that it's actually usable in general, and you have to have this marketplace built for it. I just didn't believe that, like, without incentivizing it, like we have, like ICOSA's done, that you were ever going to build up enough traction to have a marketplace like that. And I agree with this. I still stand by that. And that now you have a reasonable incentive for people to play the game,
And seeing is believing too, right? So even if you know about a concept in the end, and it's like, oh, okay, well, here's the roadmap. They're staking. Like, staking is all the rage right now. So it's like, it's the magic word. It's like, oh, well, staking's coming to this coin. I'm not really gonna like get all bulled up on it until I see it in action, see how the ecosystem works, and see how the coins interact with each other. And ICOSA hit the ground running and took Hedron with it. So all about it. Just wanted to bring up a quick quote from Sloth again. Imagine liquidity was so thick with ICOSA hex that you could stake the hex. You would have sold 5555 and sell the ICOSA instead. So much fun theory. Crypto King, can someone let Maddie Allen know? All right, I'm doing that right now. that Crypto King has interviews for you with the Crypto Blood and the Wild West Crypto Show Boom. So,
Nice.
Maddie, if you're
Boom.
watching, you might be on your way to Vegas. Actually, I don't think you're leaving till Sunday, if I remember your comment on stream, the last minute flight. What else we got here?
I just have to say, Crypto King, thank you, buddy. You are really bringing us to the masses.
He is out there doing behind the scenes stuff
Thank you,
all the
Chief.
time.
Never ending,
Yeah.
man. It's awesome. It's always
It's the most important thing you can be doing.
I don't know where this came from, but Blue Bum says that he would arm wrestle you, Motley, if
I'll take
if you
that.
didn't have such
Who was
big
right? via arm wrestling. That's how we'll decide it.
old school. Yeah.
I love Blue Bum.
What else do we have here? So I guess we can close the old Hedron loop there for a bit and move on to the next.
Oh, what about Brennan? Where's Brennan?
Oh
Brady?
no. Okay. Let's move on to the next in the ecosystem. And that is, as was announced on Goldkey's channel last night, I tuned in, the minting dates for Team, Base, Trio, Lucky, and Desi, the next of the Maximus ecosystem, happens
When are you gonna have those guys on again?
this
so they
Monday
can explain
morning.
this stuff.
Yeah, I sent Goldkey a DM, but I think he had a late night last night, so maybe he and Dipcatcher partied well into the morning. I'm not sure.
Because like my problem is like I haven't got a chance to deep dive into those yet because I've been focused on the Hedron ICOSA stuff.
Yep.
So I would like to deep dive into theirs as well. My initial gut feeling is it still seems like Maxi will always be the most profitable. So I'm curious to see how they've kind of like curtailed that to essentially have value prop for the other ones, or if they're just for a shorter time frame for people. Maybe that's enough of an incentive. Yeah. I'm just kind of curious because me, like someone who plans on being in the ecosystem for the full length of 15 years plus, like Maxi still seems like the play even to the new products. So I'm curious to see how they have the other ones structured.
Well, Goldkey or Dipcatcher, if y'all are watching, come on. Goldkey, I already DM'd you, but you can send that link.
Yeah,
to Dipcatcher,
I'm sure they're busy.
Yeah, just message me. But yeah, I mean, you started off, Motley, with talking about Maximus and that being the most valuable, and I agree with you. I think what enhances that, and we've seen it leading up to the announcement, is people are also buying it likely either to hold it for the ramp because it's going to be minted for team, so less Maximus on the market. So I think that's the thinking there.
Even
so
more
the premium
valuable.
is just skyrocketed in the past like 2 days. So I think that's something to watch for, and that's something I'd like to ask those guys about.
I think that's the only confusion I have with their system is just like I feel like the superior product's already out there. So I'm curious to see how they intend to drive demand with the other ones. So if you have the superior product and then you have all these new tokens come out, then you're splitting pressure between a low liquidity market already. I'm just curious, like what their thought process is and how they plan to like counter some of these things. Be interesting.
I'm interested in that. I'm interested in how, like, to see how it goes, because like I know that we saw a ton of demand for Maxi. You know, there was obviously the pool was filled, you know. Now this, I think these other contracts are similar in a lot of ways, but like that's still a lot of you're just splitting buy pressure, you know, amongst a bunch of different assets all at once that all would like to fill, you know, like you want to reach the max bonus in all of these, right? I mean, if you don't, then like that probably is like somewhat detrimental to what the price of it, at least versus the other perpetuals, will be worth, right? You know, so like you know, if all four of those contracts don't get as much play as the Maxi one did, and they don't hit the 150 mil, I mean, what, you know, I mean, like I'm not saying it's bad, you know, but is it going to be better than if you just made your own hex stake yourself? You know what I mean? It's just an interesting idea to see how it all plays out. It's what, if there's 4 contracts that are all accepting hex and one that accepts Maxi, is that what it is? I think, right?
Yeah, Maxi's for team, and then the other 4 are for Hex. Goldkey,
So-
bro,
so
I sent you the
that would be-
Twitter
that would
DM
be-
you.
That would be 600 million hexes
Hours ago.
to be like have to, you know, be put locked up in these contracts to hit the max bonus, you know, that people would want. So that's a lot of hex.
Yeah, man. And I think Goldkey saw my DM, so hopefully we can get him on here. So yeah,
And I'm not shit talk. Like I want to see it happen. Like
I know, and
I am
this
in
is
no way.
I want to ask this of you because I asked you about 2 months ago. So I want to see if your opinion still holds, because I think it was you, DFed, and a couple others that were on stream. Do you think that all 4 pools will get to the bigger pays better bonus? Now, I know what your answer was then, but now do you think?
I mean, because of the track record of, do I think all 4? It's yes or no question. So like, you gotta give me a second to really. I want to believe that they will. Maybe one doesn't.
That being the
So-
smallest one.
That's
I
what
just find it all too confusing. I did Maxi, and I've got other people into Maxi, but the rest, it's just, man, too confusing for Randy. I'm a simple mind.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm worried about. Is a lot of confusion and like a lot of different price things to like. There's a lot of, man, that was my biggest concern when I like one of the things I love about Hex, and one of my things that I did wrong early on in crypto was I tried the shotgun blast approach and pay, and like you would like have too many assets for you to even properly pay attention to all of what the fuck is going on in each of these ecosystems, and like you'd miss out on this drop or this, oh now we're moving to this other thing or what the fuck ever, and you're like catching up, just to like because these are all super volatile and changing networks.
I love my war chest of crypto these days, or even potentially future cryptos as I wait on PulseChain. But like, I have Hex, I have Hedron, I have ICOSA, I have some WAATSAs, I have some Maxi, I have ETH, USDC, PulseChain, PulseX. Oh,
we don't even have those 2 yet, though. That's
yeah,
awesome.
well, they're there.
Yeah, but
they're there
like,
way in the back of my
now
mind.
that we have, and like I can understand, I'm like cool with all the comprehension on all 9 of those assets, but it's like, man, I thought that I fucking retired, man. What the fuck? It's not like
This is I love working when it involves multiples of X's in my future, 10x,
It's cool.
100x,
cool with it
1000x.
too. It's
I don't
just
mind
a
putting
lot.
in the effort.
It's just a lot of paying attention to shit, you
Yeah,
make
it
a whole
is.
job for yourself, and on top of it, and then like when I've delved hard into how many wallets have you made, Molly? Like
A
I mean,
lot.
like,
A
it's just
lot.
keeping all
I'm
this shit
expecting
straight.
an airdrop here shortly on a new
Yeah.
layer 2. So
Mhm,
well, not new
mhm.
layer 2, but a layer 2.
Yeah.
All
So,
right.
anyways, that's why it's just like for people who are like coming into the scene to be like, yo, there's 9 potential things that I think are of reasonable purchasing power is really tough. It's like
We're working towards 10 Infinity Stones, not just 5.
Yeah, yeah, we need 2 full gloves.
Speaking of Infinity Stones and 5 coins, let's bring in straight
Go
from the
Keys.
fresh new studio.
Ooh, look at that. You're so
What's
far
up,
away
guys?
though, bro.
Yeah, no. You're so
Bring the
weird.
camera in.
I need to move the camera in.
But at least we can hear you well.
Looks good.
How you guys
So
doing?
yeah, man. Welcome, Goldkey. Congrats on announcing the launch date last night, which is going to be Monday morning, unless that has changed. But yeah, you and Dipcatcher, congrats to you guys for finally getting this thing pretty much set, ready to go, audited, done. I thought Motley had maybe a couple questions because to get some clarification on, so I wanted to let him go here, and then we have a couple of questions in the chat. But yeah, man, just wanted a quick shout out to you, man. So thanks for this. I'm excited. I'm pumped. So
Walk
Awesome.
us through everything, Goldkey, because it'd be awesome just to have a good, clean explanation on all the different products you guys are launching, and what the potential value propositions, the pros and cons of each are, and be fun to just go through all that for everyone.
Of course, yeah. So the perpetuals are 4 different stakes of different lengths. I think probably the best way to think about it is just like a hex staking ladder. It is 4 different coins, but I mean, pretty much everybody has multiple stakes. So, rather than just having T shares, you actually have a liquid token that represents ownership in that stake. They're exactly like Maxi, just different lengths. And there's one new feature, which is auto restaking. So when the stake ends, you can essentially just hold your pool tokens, leave your hex in the pool, and it will be auto restaked. So base, for example, is a 1-year stake. So when that 1-year stake ends, you have 3 options. You can either leave your hex in, you can mint more pool tokens at the new mint rate, which is the redemption value, or you can redeem all or a portion of your hex principal plus interest from the pool by burning your pool tokens.
So you'll be able to mint more of whatever token it is when the stake is up, whatever like the new value. Okay.
Yeah. So we call that like the reload phase. So it'll be a 7-day period. And then once that period ends, the stake is restarted. And so that's why they're called the perpetuals, because they will just auto compound every period. So that's the perpetuals. Pretty simple. To participate, you'll just need hex. And during this 21-day mint period, launch period, you'll be able to mint 1 pool token per 1 hex. So that's the perpetuals. Team is a growth engine for the perpetuals. So you can mint team 1-to-1 with Maxi and then stake it to earn rewards. So team stake periods are 1 year long. There is an early in-stake penalty of 3.69% on your team. And the rewards for team, so the perpetuals share 50% of the bigger pays better bonus hex earned. So the idea behind that is team is incentivized to grow these stakes to max out that bonus, to max out their own rewards. And then there's also the other reward right now is the Maxi 369 rebate, which is 30% of the Maxi used to mint team is then rewarded back to team stakers in years 3, 6, and 9.
Do you have a flow diagram to show this, how this works?
Yeah.
Do you have it available?
I actually just dropped this site, maximusdao.com. That's got all the information about team of the perpetuals. And then I've tweeted out some flow charts as well.
So what are the 3 different staking tokens? Where are all the different ends?
So the perpetuals,
the 3 pools.
The pools are base, which is a 1 year.
Yep.
Trio's a 3 year. Lucky's a 7 year, and Desi is a 10 year.
Okay. So for those 4, are they all going to be? Do they all have to be raised like separate pools?
What do you mean by that?
Like, because are you going to?
Like
I don't know how that's.
You're hoping for 600 million total.
Yeah, Maxi was a maxed out pool, like
150 per. So
150
like ideally,
per then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so that's what you guys are shooting for. Okay.
That is an exciting amount of hex to be hoping for.
That's a massive amount of hex. Do you foresee any drawbacks if you guys fall way shorter? Like, hopefully not, but like if you guys fall too short of that goal, is the value proposition you think still worthwhile? What do you think? What are y'all's plans to counter that?
Absolutely. I think it's been really interesting. I thought that everyone would be, longer stakes, like more yield. People love Maxi, so Desi and Lucky. A lot of people are excited about that, but there are a lot of people that are excited about the shorter stakes as well. And I heard the conversation before I hopped on just about like why these versus just Maxi. And it really comes down to realizable hex yield, right? Like, the liquidity aspect of Maxi is kind of like an added benefit, but like the real winners are the people that are gonna, that mint it and then potentially like accumulate more throughout this stake, DCAing in and, eventually getting maximum yield at the end of the stake. So by adding these new pools, it's just more optionality for people to actually earn hex at shorter lengths and still have the option for liquidity at any time. So it's a very flexible staking ladder.
So all these pools, they'll have, so let's say they all hit their 150 million hex mark, and then they would get everything, right? They would get the hex. Do they get all the Hedron yield as well?
So Hedron, how the contract works, also goes to team stakers. I don't think I mentioned that.
Okay, so in the pools, instead of getting your hex and Hedron, the Hedron is specifically allocated to the team token.
Correct. Yeah. So
Okay.
that was more to reduce like contract risk from what I learned from Brian. Just with the redemption rate for Hedron was harder to calculate, so it was much easier to just give it to team stakers. And honestly, like now that the launch for Hedron is over, the amount of Hedron you earn from a stake isn't as it's not a lot. So yeah, that'll be going to team stakers.
Okay. So, and then team. So where are all the different sources of revenue for this team token? So you're sacrificing specifically Maxi for team token, correct?
Correct.
So what
Minting,
is
yeah.
Okay, minting, yeah. What is all the yield coming for this team token, and is there a stake length on it? Go more in depth on that.
Yeah, so team stake length is 1 year. It matches the base calendar. So it's a 1 year stake. And as of right now, the two rewards are the 50% from the bigger pays better bonus from the perpetuals and the Hedron from those stakes, and then the Maxi 369 rebate.
Okay.
The thing with team though is it does have this uncapped future potential as well, because how the contract works is basically there's a whitelist of tokens that can be claimed. So any tokens that are sent, for example, Hex, Hedron, ICOSA, all the pool tokens, if someone sends those to the contract address during a stake period, those can be claimed by team stakers. So, if there is potential for like maybe future pools or future products to also be rewarded to team. But as of right now, it's just the perpetuals and the rebate.
So from these other 4 pools, team is essentially getting 50% of all their longer or larger pays better bonus.
Correct. So
and the Hedron.
Yeah. So people are still going to be getting a much bigger pays better bonus. Yeah.
5% in all the other pools. Okay.
And in reality, that even with base, even with a 1 year stake, the longer pays better bonus is actually, I believe, twice as big. So, in comparison, longer pays better bonus is much more impactful on bonuses and yield. But yeah, so 50%.
Is it twice as big or 50% bigger? Because when a 1 year stake be like I don't know, 10 to 12%, and then you're looking at add another like 5% to it.
Yep.
Okay. Interesting. Well, I kind of like team out of all of them.
Yeah, I mean, and so do a lot of people, because I think, and this is just speculation, but the premium, as I mentioned before, in Maxi just started spiking like yesterday. So it could be people want to hold the Maxi, maybe, and Goldkey, you could correct me or not even comment, but possibly less supply of Maxi on the market, and or they want to use that Maxi to stake for team.
Yeah.
So, and I guess I'll just throw my guess in here, not even a guess, but I guess a question. So let's call it 300 million Maxi exist, and that's the cap, just to round it off. I guess some of that burned for the ICOSA and or Hedron, like 4 million or something like that, but that's small numbers in comparison to 300 million, so we'll keep it with 300 million. So if, say, and just wild theory, like 100 million Maxi mints their team, then that would take obviously that Maxi out of circulation, right? Like forever.
Yeah. So one thing I don't think I mentioned yet. So 20% of the Maxi used to mint is burned. like
Okay.
burned. So
Okay.
and what that does is actually increases the redemption value of all other maxi. So you had mentioned that the Hedron deployer, I believe they burned 1 million maxi. So it was at 294 million. Now it's down to 293. And that, yeah. So all other maxis redemption value went up, and it'll go up with the team launch as well.
Yeah, and I mean, all these coins are great, but man, Maxi just becomes incredibly more valuable too with the launch of all those tokens. So that's,
and that was by
that's
design.
a very big play as well.
Yeah, that was definitely by design. I think one thing that people will find too is that these pools reduce sell pressure of Maxi because there's more optionality to realize gains throughout the 15 years versus selling Maxi and selling the price down. So I think it's actually a net positive, but there is the argument to like buy pressure as well. But yeah, I'm pretty confident that the yield earned from these pools actually gives people more leverage to buy more Maxi. With base staking and team, that's yearly yield that can then be deployed to buy Maxi or restake.
It depends how much Maxi is given up because I mean, man, if a lot of Maxi ends up getting burned or what have you, like the premium could really shoot up.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, the in the end, the premium would be like a 3x or ballpark. You know what I mean?
It depends. Yeah.
In the very end, but if there's say a third less supply in that situation, that premium could, like you were just saying, like go past that. Like, it's okay.
But the interesting thing too is, so there's two like things to look at. There's the price premium that a lot of people look at, and that's popping off right now. But the really interesting thing to think about is like with this burn and the redemption value going up, the premium discount over NAV. It's going to be really interesting to see, the backing value of Maxi going up, and what that premium is actually going to be. Because right now, like, let me pull up the Maxi dashboard. If you go to Maximus.cash and you go to the dashboard, you're able to see the backing.
So you can
value
share
of
it if
Maxi.
you're not logged in or anything like that. I'll
Okay,
be
let
glad
me
to
share
put it up if you want. Yeah.
1 second, it's loading. Okay, let me share. Shoot. All right.
Let me know when
I'm
you're
sharing.
good to go.
If you want to add it.
Yeah, we have our green room in there, or the current screen right now, it looks like.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Okay.
All right, there you go.
So yeah, over here you can see, the market price, and then this is showing the premium over this backing value. So the backing value per Maxi is 0.04. It's now worth. It started out 1-to-1 with Hex. Now it's worth 1.11. So with the launch of Team and with the burn, each Maxi will be worth more Hex than Hedron. So we could see. I don't know. Like, there should be no expectations, but we could see this premium get eaten up based off just the value increase from the burn. It was actually, with the launch of ICOSA, that premium, like, people were definitely getting ICOSA, swapping out from Maxi, and we saw a little price dip, and so that was the lowest it had gone. This premium, I think it went down to like 50%. It's now back over 92. I think, like you were talking about, in preparation for Team and maybe people understanding, Maxi is going to become more valuable. But once that's burned, we could see that get eaten up again.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much game theory in this. It's like, okay, the timing of the launch, what could last minute people do with their Maxi, depending upon what is minted for Team, what isn't. So it's going to go right down to the end. I guess the last day would be, I don't even know. When's the 21-day phase end?
I think it's gonna be the 26th is the last day.
Okay, 26. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I
so-
try to,
Go
there
ahead.
is, I think and I was talking about this on stream last night. Like, I think a lot of people in our community love game theory and they love to go deep. And there is a lot of exciting game theory for these products. But
is that the last day of the calendar ending too?
Oh, hey.
I almost jumped in and yelled
Wow, man.
God, you threw off his flow, bro.
All right, go. All right, go.
Sorry.
Keep going. That was the first part of the show.
Funny though.
All right.
No, but it's it can be, just like how Maxi was, it can be as simple or as complex as you want to make it. I think, the perpetuals truly make hex staking actually a lot easier, because the stake management, versus staking solo, where you have to get hex, stake it, not touch it, make sure to unstake it early. With the perpetuals, it's really you mint. 99.9% of people aren't going to start or in those stakes, and you can just redeem or buy more.
And Goldkey, I have a question about the perpetuals. So, for example, in base, can you add to your position like at the restaking period or like restaking day?
Yeah, that's a great question. So yeah, you can add to your position in two ways. So because they're liquid tokens, by buying base on market, you are growing your position in the stake. But you brought up the reload phase. Yes. So during that 7-day period, you can mint more, like with more hex into the pool. But the mint rate, like the mint rate starts out at 1-to-1, but the mint rate after a stake ends is 1 to whatever the current redemption value is at that time. So for base, for example, it might be like 1.16 or whatever it is. That is the new mint rate for you to add to that pool.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's
So
that's
all
so
these-
cool. I mean,
Oh, go ahead.
I like
some
that feature.
people
It's nifty.
have the stakes coming out all the time, so maybe they can add after 1 year. So
Yeah.
sounds awesome.
I wanted to comment on this real quick because this is kind of what we were discussing in the ICOSA Telegram chat last night. It's just like I love these just hex derivatives that are coming out between Goldkey and Dipcatcher, and then what Alex is building. Like it just shows you what a successful like ecosystem like the hex community is, and what Richard Hart's building, and then like how talented our community members are. Like it shows you that we're in this healthy, thriving ecosystem. And I think these products are so amazing, even for the underlying product of hex. And I know you have some people that disagree with it, but like I truly think like all these products that you guys are coming up with is like it's great, because I've seen so much economic mass leach from the community from just pure garbage or people with malicious intent. Like I love seeing these products. And it was the point I brought up in the discussion that I was having last night, is out of all these projects that are being built, I love these hex derivative plays more than anything else, because it just enhances this amazing product that we already have. So shout out to you, Goldkey and Dipcatcher, for this stuff. It's awesome.
Thanks,
Well
man.
said.
Yeah, it's an exciting time. It's I think it's really going to take hex to another level. It doesn't take away from, like, I still and will always believe solo stakes have a purpose with the, utilizing that time locking for long-term retirement is a great play. But yeah, I think for a lot of people, this opens the door to hex, and our goal is to make it more simple and easy and save people money. And yeah,
look at the problem like Bitcoin faces, right? Like it's old tech in a tech space, like it can't evolve. No one can build on it. It's terrible code. And the funny thing is, like, hex is immutable. Like the code can't be changed. But these derivatives allow you to just like almost like an update and an enhancement of an already amazing product. then you still have that safety layer of like Hex can't be changed. So you have this great, like I know a couple community members have already referred to it. It's just the nucleus. Like Hex is the nucleus of all these cool products that can be built on. You can build on top of it. You can enhance it. It can change and grow with the times, because I mean, we are going to be here for 15 plus years. You have to be able to update, and products like you guys are building are able to do so. So it's really awesome to see you guys doing this stuff. I can't express how much I think it's just going to benefit the overall ecosystem.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun 15 years for sure. It's just the start, and PulseChain's coming out. It's gonna be
Eventually.
crazy. 2 more weeks.
Speaking of forks, Crypto King, whose mind is in motion quite a bit. If we get copies of Maxi and Hex on ETH proof of work, can we use those coins to mint team and participate in the perpetuals?
That's a good question.
Interesting.
I personally don't know. I've been trying to follow, so proof of stake, ETH proof of stake is definitely happening. Proof of work, I've heard, as of right now, it's more, to me, it sounds more like a rumor that the miners are going to fork, and it will likely happen. I don't know if it's going to happen right at the merge. That'll be really interesting. If it does, yeah, I mean, it should, you should be able to use everything as you do now, right? But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Hello, Wealth. Why launch during Vegas? I think I can answer this. Goldkey can correct me if I'm wrong, but you have 21 days. So unless you're in Vegas for 21 days, the whole
No
launch
one
phase...
needs to be in Vegas for 21 days.
You'll literally die.
Yeah. Do
Honestly,
some irreparable damage.
3 days is too much, honestly. I like 2 days. 3
Yeah,
days is
Goldkey and I were like chilling by the pool last time recovering.
Yeah, man, that was a long weekend. You gotta get in and out of Vegas.
Yeah, it's a great place to have some fun and then leave.
Are you guys gonna be in Vegas next week?
No, not me.
None of us, I don't think.
Wow.
Yeah.
But many will be.
Yeah.
Yes, let's go.
Yeah. Briz, how long do you have to claim your coins before it restakes? Is that 7 days?
7 days, yeah.
I'm passing the quiz. All right. What else here? I'm just going way back in chat. Are you trolling, Briz? Where does the 3.69% penalty go?
It's just never so like Hex,
no expectations.
Well, the 3.69 penalty is burned. So when you stake your team, it's burned, and then when you unstake, it's reminted. So that 3.69% penalty is on that remint, and so those team will just not be reminted. So the supply of teams is actually deflationary with that penalty.
Wild.
Just going through chat. So
team and Maxi are both deflationary. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, team is more built in, but Maxi, by how the redemption is built, when you burn Maxi, unlike other coins, when you burn, I mean, it does reduce supply, which could impact price, and but with Maxi, when you burn, it actually increases the value, the backing value, because when the stake ends, the contract calculates how much Maxi is available, and then gives each token a value for redemption.
It's just like T-shares over time, right? Like your slice of the pie actually, it's still technically the same size, but the pie around it has shrunken. So the Maxi pie is just going to be getting smaller, which is awesome.
Pretty cool.
Going through different questions here. So yeah, keep on chatting, guys, if you want. Wendy's chimed in. I figured you would on the ETH proof of work. It's just going to be a rush to the exit. You'd have nowhere to sell the coins anyway. There won't be a UI.
I think he was estimating you could potentially get about 5% worth of your position. So yeah, a rush to dump kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean,
free money is free money, boys.
I mean, just we like people that think that are like, oh, they're just already doing that. It's going to be a thing, not like Pulse at all. Like they're they have not taken into account the idea that it's taken a long time to get to where we need to be with Pulse and development. So all the tools that have been built along the way, none of that shit's going to be there for a proof of work fork that that isn't very very well supported by any development team. So it's really funny to see those two conflated together. So rush to the exit. If there is the tools even to get to the exit properly, like you said, exchange, places that are going to, have liquidity and carry it and everything else,
Talking about Vegas really quick. Sammy Chica is going to be there for 11 days. R.I.P. girl. R.I.P. It was great knowing you. I wish I would have come there to meet you for a couple days, but
dude, Sammy's wild. Vegas might be just the place for Sammy.
I think it will be, but 11 days.
Yeah, that's a lot. There's no way. I would never do 11 days in Vegas.
About the other side, a different person.
Or just not come out the other side.
Health could be severely impacted.
I had a couple of questions, but I lost them. Where are they? Come on.
I think you can actually Cabana in the future now with StreamYard. I think you can actually
stars.
mark and save. Yeah,
it's awesome. Yeah. I didn't do that for
start doing
the most recent one. I remember it, so I can find it now. Briz, so the question is, do you sacrifice your maxi for team, or do you let everyone else so your maxi produces more hex? Yeah, that's kind of what I was briefly mentioned earlier. Here it is. Your Hexcellence. Hey, Goldkey, can you talk about the mystery box? Even though it's a mystery and there's no expectations, can you talk about it?
Yeah, so the mystery box, during this launch, 50% of the maxi used to mint team goes to the mystery box, and a copy of all the team goes to the mystery box. So one thing about this launch too, though, the mystery box doesn't get that copy of team till after the stake starts. So this first stake period will be essentially 50% higher in rewards. But yeah, it is a mystery. There should be no expectations around the mystery box. But for staking protocols, much like Hex, it is a pumpamental for some type of centralized ownership, incentivized to make, rewards lucrative. So, again, no expectations, but by having
I'll do it since Goldkey is part of the team. Essentially, just think of the OA, think of the SA, think of an entity that essentially has a little war chest off to the side, and then they can implement it however they see fit. Don't assume that's going to pump your bags, but there's a potential that it could. There you go. Yeah. He can't say that.
Well said.
Just I do want to clarify it. So it will get a copy of all the team tokens minted, but it won't go into effect until the second or after the first year, correct? Like they won't be released.
Did I
say that right?
They go to the mystery box just after the stake starts, so they can't be. You have to remain staked. You have to stake before the stake period starts and remain staked the whole period. So the mystery box can't stake for this first period. So reward could be.
So in theory, the first year is going to be a much more lucrative staking, at least.
At least, that's guaranteed for sure.
Okay, it's kind of like the same situation that Alex has set up with Hedron, ICOSA, and WAATSA, because all the pre-burned allocated tokens and yield, like it's the first year is going to be the most lucrative out of all of them. Okay, got it.
That's not to say they, in the future team, the mystery box doesn't stake as well, but it's more just guaranteed this first year.
No expectations regardless.
No expectations,
Got it.
Randy, I want to ask you, where do you get those lights in your background? The neon ones, those are sick.
I'll pull up the Telegram, Randy, because I know you're going to forget.
Crypto Hut. There's a guy from the UK that lives in France.
Those are sick.
He sells them.
He's a cool dude.
I need that.
I've got a Hex one too, but it's in the shape of a heart, so nobody always asks. Oh, everyone's like, "What's that?" But I don't use it.
Cool, man. What do you guys? What do you guys?
Telegram group, and I'll put in the chat for you guys if you want one of those lamps.
What are you guys doing for Labor Day? What are you doing this holiday weekend?
I may take my daughter camping.
Nice.
Camping.
Yeah, there's some sick rock walls and caves up in this joint.
Nice. I just walked in and heard camping, so that's all I heard. That's why I was like, "What?"
We're just going to the beach tomorrow, guys. We're still under the weather, so soaking in the salt water is.
It's healthy. Sun and salt water. So yeah, any other? Did we close the loop on Maxi for now?
Yeah, I got a lot of my questions answered.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I
thanks,
appreciate-
Goldkey.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. Excited for launch. And
Monday? You said Monday, right?
Monday.
Monday.
Yep.
Monday.
Damn it.
So-
now I gotta go get ready.
Yeah, stack your
a little bit more
so
cramming.
just to summarize, if you plan to mint into perpetuals, get buy Hex. If you plan to mint team, buy Maxi. Mint rate will be 1-to-1 for 21 days. So there's no like bonding curve or anything. So you have time to think about it. And yeah, the new site is maximusdao.com if you guys want to check that out. Follow us on Twitter, Maximus_DAO. I feel like everyone already knows all this, but I really, really appreciate it and look forward to launch.
Heck yeah, man! Congrats,
Yeah,
and
good.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be exciting, especially towards the end there. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's gonna be crazy.
congrats.
those
I got
last
my
few
Maxi
days are gonna be
bags.
wild.
You guys get your freaking hex ready. I want these suckers maxed out.
Yeah, guys.
Maximum
All of them.
Let's pump Hex. All right, guys. I do have to drop, but I really appreciate it, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, bro.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah,
Later.
cheers.
Later.
And that's
Yeah.
another thing too. So all these things have the ability to enhance the hex price, and then also they're just massive hex sinks. Like all of them just put away so much hex for long periods of time. It's great.
Yeah. Yep.
Hex is getting really rare, guys. Just throwing that out there. Hint, hint.
What does the liquidity look like? How's it looking out there?
I haven't looked in a long time. Let's see.
Oh, where's my screen would not refresh. Oh, and now it's dead. So I hope I don't. Yeah, that browser's done. So I'm not going to try that again on that browser, and I'm going to switch back and hope the show lasts until the end here.
Let's see.
Actually, I'll just do it on this.
And by the way, guys, did you know that this is probably the biggest hex painting in the world for now? It's
Nice.
like huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
Where is it? Let's see.
1 by 2 meters.
On Uniswap pools right now, there's a 250 million hex. So
Wow, that's not much. That's half a day of the AA.
yeah, I mean, I remember it was down to like under
No,
40 there for
I
a
was gonna
minute.
say I'm impressed. It's actually a pretty solid liquidity amount for. It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Randy talked Shmit
I
earlier.
already did.
Randy, talk
Um,
Shemitah to me. Yes.
Yes, right. Hey, somebody read the title. Or
Yeah, join me.
That was
Join
my
me tonight.
comment.
Join me tonight as we go into the Vatican and what they're up to.
do you really want to go into the Vatican and find out what they're up to?
Thank you, Sandy.
Okay. Let's see what else we have. Got through most of the good stuff. Did want to bring this up just because I saw the crypto banter stream today. Everybody see that one
I did.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
with Miserable Mike and
Oh.
Todd
what-
Bod, whoever that
what
is.
a miserable person.
God.
So yeah, just it's funny that you bring that up, Molly. So let's. I just want to
Gotcha.
pull up this tweet real quick here. So there was a thread here. It was about Meet Kevin, and it was like his body is infant shaped. Richard comments, all head and no torso, similar intelligence as well. LOL. Toddler body is what I call that, and then I say, Todd bod. So the
Todd bod.
question is.
I love it.
The question is, and I'll do Randy and talk about myself. In the third person, does Cabana deserve credit?
Please don't do that, guys. I give
this.
Randy a pass. Everyone else, don't do it. It ends terribly.
In the bottom left corner, the Todd bod. He thinks that retail adoption is what will give Bitcoin value, but he has it entirely
Thumbs up.
backwards.
He probably has no idea either. He's like, when you see him say Todd Bod?
Did you guys?
So put it in the chat, please.
Hashtag
give the
Todd
credit for that.
Pod. Todd
Give
Bod.
the Cabana the credit for that. All right. Anyway, I
guys
just thought
see
that
how
was
much-
hilarious.
How much liquor the mic guy had behind him?
No, I wasn't even paying attention. Are you saying
That's
he has
probably
a
why
problem,
he's so
Peter?
like sad and melancholy all the time.
Wait,
Just-
can you pull
Well,
it back
he's a
up?
Bitcoin miner,
Cabana,
so-
I want to see.
Oh shoot. Okay, hold
Yeah,
on.
he's
Well,
perpetually
keep
wrecked.
talking.
He's perpetually wrecked, so he's got to drown in sorrows.
Perpetually wrecked.
Right.
I didn't know, so I wasn't paying attention.
I couldn't even
He's
watch
got a
it.
full bar back there. Where is it?
I didn't even enjoy this stream. I watched parts of it, but oh my God,
I mean, it looks like
It was kind of
a
painful
small
to
kitchen,
watch.
but it's all booze. So this all makes sense now.
Cabana's a simple man. Just give him Fireball and he's happy.
Yeah.
Ladies, liquor, and level.
Yeah. His office is in his bar. Perfect.
This man here, the toddler body guy that's mostly a head with no body in the bottom left corner, the Todd bod, he thinks
Get ran.
that retail adoption
I
is
love
what
it.
will give Bitcoin.
Oh, the Todd bod.
Let's get Todd Bod trending on Twitter.
Todd bod. Todd bod.
Yeah, just attach that clip and put Todd Bod.
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to point that one out just for personal reasons because I laughed my ass off when I heard that. Yes, Rothko. I mean, personally, I hope not, but yeah. Or wait, now I am right. Small head, little body. But...
We don't want you pulling an RG3 and try to claim hexagons later. We have proof now.
Oh man. All right. Well, with all that said, I guess we can wrap it up with a couple fun things. So, Richard, I think also said in that stream, I think that, or actually, it might have been in his reply to Mr. Baller or not, who Richard Steal Your Girl, that the highest of stakes, pretty much putting the John Williams score on it, Big K, is that right? We're in the music time, not John Williams. I don't want to say that, but we're scoring it up with a little orchestra action.
I believe
He said
so.
it, so
yes. Then it's,
okay.
if it's out of the, I mean, yes, there's going to be a well, scored pieces made for it and orchestra recording it, as well. So it should be pretty.
I'm sending this to them right now, sir. You violated your NDA.
I mean, I think that's. I mean, I don't know if that's violation of anything, but yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that the soundtrack will be epic. So,
have you seen your private showing yet of the movie?
I may have seen the movie, or what I've seen a cut of it. Saw I saw it before there was the RG was doing his and everything. So like what I saw, I don't think is like.
It's been slightly changed.
I'm pretty sure it's.
How'd you like it?
I loved it. I mean,
good.
But like it's a documentary and it's fair and balanced, and like there's not everyone's gonna be like, not every it's great. It's awesome. I mean I mean it's super well done. So I'm a huge fan.
What's up with where do we stand on Netflix on it?
I mean I have no idea. I mean,
we are shopping it.
Yeah,
and I'm not like, and that's one thing that like people are gonna probably ask me. I'm gonna basically be like, yo, I really don't. I have no idea until like there's like until
signed
you click it on a
documents
button
confirmed
on your TV and you can like actually watch it somewhere. Then like I can't. I have no idea. So yeah, I'm stoked. I can't. I can't wait to ever share it with everyone. It should be great.
Briz says Big K saw it before it was cool. he's seen the most recent cut of it. It doesn't have the cut where PulseChain's launched. That's all I'm saying. So once we get that cut in there,
they wanted PulseChain to launch so bad for that documentary. It's like Richard's like, do we need to hold off? He's like, just finish the film, guys. Like, finish the film. Don't worry about PulseChain.
You get what you get. It's whatever. It's what happens.
You can get a round 2 maybe later if this one does well.
Yeah. A couple more fun items before we close here. Big K, what are we in? We're in the 3rd year of the Hex Fantasy Football draft.
We are. This is the 3rd year of Hex Fantasy Football. Yes.
And
we're the winners.
Last year, due to demand, you added another league, so you had the drafts last night. They all went well because I'm in all of them. But how do you feel? Are you excited about football? How do you feel about your teams?
I mean, it's an exciting different year because there's it's a very wide receiver thin league out there. So like there's a lot of wide receivers going early, which is unique for fantasy in general since I've been playing, which is a long time. So like that made me your opening round picks were difficult because of that. And then our one league is a 16-team league. And if anybody knows anything about fantasy football, it's basically like your team is complete garbage, because like you've got like one or two good players, everything else gets picked, So like if last year, if you have one or two bad injuries, you're pretty much screwed. It's pretty easy to fall to the bottom.
Waiver wire is key in that league.
For sure. And I mean,
As I found out
halfway
last
through the
year.
draft, you're picking up players like you've never heard of. And, guys that are like, you read the little thing on them, they're like, this guy just made the team. You're like, all right, I guess this is.
I'll take him.
Yeah. So it's
who's won the previous ones, Cabana? Who are the former
Big
winners?
K
Cabana?
won the first one.
I did
And
win the
last
first
year, I happened to win the
Cabana won.
16-team league.
That won that one, yeah.
Yo,
So
Big
we
K,
got-
when Bingo Earth again?
As soon as PulseChain launches, I just didn't. I
Okay.
mean, I could do it sooner, I guess. I mean, my initial plan was to do it like we pregame. I was ready to go after like in mid-May, when we thought we were launching. It's like I got all I got a whole new little plan on it and everything. So I'm not doing everything, myself. But yeah. So I mean, I've got. Bingo Earth is registered charity now. We've been in operation for a couple of years, and and we definitely have bags ready to give away, and we'll have all the bags to give away for people for bingo. We've got the hexes and the hedrons and the whatever the hell people, the pulses and the PulseXs, and when it launches, you want whatever you want your winnings in, we've got it, so it should be lots of fun. Yeah, I can't wait for that shit. But yeah, I've been holding off until launch.
It's so fun, like when you did that, and like the prizes, like they were pretty substantial early on, but like the price just wasn't quite there. And then the winners that won those bingos, like whatever the price was at the time, I can't remember, it was like $50, $100, and then next thing you know, the prize was $1,000, $5,000. Like
there's a person that I know that we told to watch the one stream that won one game and staked their hex out like in a like it was a good chunk. I think this is early on, so it was like 50,000 some odd hex or whatever.
Yeah. And all-time highs too, and the stake
before big payday and everything. And I think like she topped out, she's still has 20, 30 something $1,000, 20 grand worth of.
That's
not
awesome.
bad for a bingo card, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, it's awesome. That was awesome.
Great.
I think we gave away that like in that first year, like to charity and then to people well over. I mean, I think the total was
probably close to 6 figures, right?
3 million hex or something like that total.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it was a lot,
awesome.
Which is pretty kick-ass. So more to come.
Back on task just for a second before we close. Briz, bring us back on task. You're the one that gets us off usually. Off task.
Phrasing, sir.
That's why I corrected myself immediately.
There's definitely no that is like something that I'm also like I want to make sure that people are super aware of. There's no chicken going on. Like Richard doesn't really have any say or control over any of the like the release of it. Like once we've like signed off on what we think is okay for our versions, like we don't. It's on other people to do all that. So like he doesn't know. I don't know when it's going to be launched. None of that. None of us know. So like we're in no way trying to have any coordination whatsoever in that regard.
That's what the Illuminati would say, sir.
That's I mean, I would like I said, I want, and I think that I know that Richard at this point would like. I mean, we want Pulse as soon as possible. I mean, I also want the movie out as soon as possible too. But like I'd like to, I want to make sure that it hits right and it's marketed right and reaches the most eyeballs that it possibly can. That's
good things come to those who wait.
Yeah. I was on with RH Max earlier this week, and the documentary subject came up real quick, and I was like, in a fantasy world, and just let me dream for like 15 seconds. PulseChain launches like Thanksgiving or before, and then December we have the highest of stakes, and the end of it is the launch of PulseChain.
The Tiger King of crypto.
That would be awesome. I mean, like if I was, choreographing the dance that is my life, I would love for those two to like, it'd be great if there was some sort of call to action, feeling in the movie of like, who knows what happens, but you could be a part of it kind of thing. That would be great. I mean, like I said, it's either way it's going to be like that because it's just still. I still think both things are going to come out in the next year. So like it's not. It's still going to be pretty early for everyone. But yes, I agree. I'd love for all the stars to align all the time. But
There we go. Just a couple of football notes. I would have joined one of the drafts. I think they're pretty much maxed out for like.
Yeah, we are. We could do another. I do have a couple other wallets of some stakes maybe set up that we could.
Third league, a bronze league.
Maybe it's a possibility.
Yeah, like you gotta like work your way up to the platinum league. You gotta win, move up the ranks.
Yeah, well, I thought that because it was good. Like some people paid the full 15 years, but some people just paid yearly. So like I thought that some of the yearly people would have been priced out, but because Hex price was up and down and everything, it's like around the same cost as it was last year. So like I imagine though that won't stay that way forever. So we may have 16 may get whittled down over the years.
Sandy Beach, anyone draft Deshaun Watson? Hey, no.
What's
actually
hilarious?
I think he was late.
If you go and look at the average ranks of the players get drafted, like Gronkowski goes in like 180 like you're like, no, that's dumb, please don't do that. And like there's a lot of that happens.
Watson
like,
could literally play 2 games. Like
yeah, I mean there's somebody
fantasy
did
games.
Pick him up. Somebody picked him up and then we're like, son of a bitch. They were in the like we had a Zoom room that we were all in.
Oh, okay, yeah, I did see that. Hex 19, what is going on, my friend? Thanks, guys. Always enjoy Friday afternoon with you all. Thinking hard about Team and Maxi. Yeah, he corrected that later. So yes, Team and Maxi. Yeah, I think you are along with Motley. So Motley's going to get to work on that as well.
Yep.
What else do we have? That is most of it. Michael 8 wants to know, hey, Randy, Panama City was crazy last month. Or was it? Are you still there? I don't even think he was around for the crazy.
I wasn't here for it. I was actually in Italy and watching it from afar. But things are pretty normal now. The roads were blocked and now they're unblocked. And my friends that were here, they didn't have much of a problem.
What was going on? I didn't hear anything about it.
There was rioting about price increases, gas price increases, food costs going up, all the inflation stuff, and
yep,
it was getting nuts. And they had six major roadblocks on the Pan American Highway, which is the one highway that goes across Panama that goes all the way up to Canada, right? And it got pretty rough.
It's crazy. This has happened all around the world, and like we barely hear about it, right? Like,
yep,
not good. Not good.
Couple items check off the list. Oh, did want to do this. So if you've ever been to the Wrecked Hex Plebs Telegram,
I love that Telegram.
It is a gem, and I just thought I'd share a couple of recent ones with you. So I'll just read.
No,
Peter.
Go for it, Peter.
I think there is too much of Dan in the Wrecked Hex Plebs.
There's too much
Dan.
Never too much Dan.
I don't think any of these are him, but here we go. This user writes, quote, the fact that money's taken from people was called a sacrifice does not mean team working on things get a pass and act like they are not under any obligation to answer to believers in this project. Pulse was built to be a momentous event in crypto, and sadly, it's turning out to be one of the biggest jokes. Okay. This user writes, I think Fatty is sleeping with one eye open these days. The little punks left here in chat. If they were smart, we should be cataloging how many of the faithful Hex Pulse shill guys have dropped out and left. Classic confidence con, pull back slowly and melt away into the crowd like a shitcoin, like Pulse Floki or something. I just added that. I had to track down a few guys like this during the mid-2000s for a German client who got hosed. As long as they have a cell phone and use credit cards and a laptop, it's short work and very satisfying. What
They're coming.
You better be careful. You go into fucking jail with comments like that.
The fuck is this?
Yeah.
All right, next. A couple more. RH Savaged ETH, and now ETH 2.0 is being released, and PulseChain nowhere to be seen. Karma is a bitch.
No.
And lastly, my favorite, I saved the best for last. This is what we get for investing in a dildo salesman.
These green dildos mixed in with those red dildos.
Sponsored by Red Bull.
All right, so
That's the winner.
That's the winner. Last one on the list, Motley Investor. I know we didn't get to chat about the epic Usman fight a couple weeks ago, the mad upset.
The head kick heard around the world.
Yeah, I mean, it is just selfishly satisfying to see someone try and get into someone's head and like be like the intimidator and get his own head knocked into another dimension. So that was awesome. But we have a decent one. I think it's in France tomorrow. Couple of
paid attention.
Yeah, I was gonna say a couple of the big ones. We got, I think, Robert Whitaker and Vittori. You got anybody in that one?
Vittori, he's Irish or Italian, like big, like yoked white guy, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna go with Robert Whitaker just with the experience, and I think they're actually kind of very similar fighters. They're both kind of explosive brawlers, and I think I'm gonna give the edge to Whitaker just with the experience.
Nice.
And Vittori gasses out a little bit towards the end. So,
and the big one, and I use that in dual meaning, the heavyweight main event. My favorite heavyweight.
Oh man,
right
I'm
now,
looking at it
Surreal
right now, I
Gone
think. Yeah.
versus Tui.
Chewy's the Chewy guy, yeah,
Tui
right?
the Chewy.
Oh,
I mean,
dude.
knockout power versus. I love Surreal Gone because he can do pretty much all of it.
He's such an explosive, athletic
switches
heavyweight.
stances like
Yeah.
nothing.
He's
So
like Francis Ngannou, except he also has some of the nastiest kicks to go with those with his boxing as well. It's just great, like overall kickboxer for a heavyweight. That one's tough. That one is that one can go either way.
yeah,
The
I
problem-
mean, Tui gets a blow in. And,
Yeah, the
I mean,
problem
it's just
with
one
Tui
shot
is
with him.
you can't put that dude down. He's got probably the heaviest, like
He
the
can
most
eat. Yep.
solid chin I've ever seen. Like when he fought who was the big heavyweight he just fought? Dude, help me out. Giant black dude.
Oh,
Cabana.
Blade? No, not Blade.
No, not Blade.
Woodley.
No.
No,
Woodley?
Oh
No.
my god, you're not helping
What's
at
the
all.
snatch?
Yeah. God, why can't I think of his name? He's hilarious and I can't think of his name. But anyways, yeah, they went brawling at it, and the Black Beast, whatever the fuck his name is, I don't know, I'm blanking on it so bad. But I thought he was going to put Shuey out, and he just ate the hardest shots I've ever seen, and just wanted to go out, and then came out and knocked out the Black Beast. So it's gonna be hard. I think as long
Derek Lewis.
as Derek Lewis, thank you, gosh. I think as long as what's the other guy's name? Cyril Gone. I think
Yep.
as long as he can keep the distance, and if I think the best strategy for him is probably to chop at Shuey's legs. I think that's probably the best strategy. I think he has the skill, technique, and athleticism to potentially keep him at a distance. But man, if he gets in close and lands a couple of those just dynamite hands that he has, it could just be lights out. So it's really like who can Cyril Gone, if he keeps the distance, he wins. And if Shuey can get in there and put his hands on him, he could put anyone to sleep. So it's really who implements their game plan on that one. That one's a 50-50. You can pretty much bet on whoever has the better odds, and you have a very good chance of winning that fight. It's tough. That's a tough one. I really could go either way on that one.
And I saved the best for last, Motley. Clash at the Castle, Roman Reigns or Drew McIntyre? I just wanted to see a look on your face. That's
Yeah, I was like, I don't know who this. I don't know. Is that a different sport?
It's WWE. So,
okay.
Yeah,
I was like, who are those people?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that about wraps it up for tonight. Chat, you guys were absolutely awesome. Again, I love this new feature in StreamYard where, like, how long has we had this? Maybe I've just not seen it with the
What's
star,
that?
and you can like highlight comments and stuff like that.
It's been around for a little while now. A couple
I've been on a
months.
laptop for a lot, so maybe I just didn't.
It's a nice feature because trying to keep track of it.
Trying to go back.
It was annoying.
Yeah, you want to You want to keep certain comments, but it's like you want to also keep the topic of this discussion.
Yeah, it's like
going.
you like cut the conversation to get to a really good question and throws off the flow, but being able to bookmark all these is much better.
Yeah.
Good job, StreamYard.
Good job, StreamYard. Motley Investor, as we close out, where can we find you?
Motley Investor everywhere, YouTube, Twitter, Telegram. You can follow me in t.me/Legion VC News, where a bunch of us sit there and just talk about these different projects all day. Go to hexmerch.com for all your attire needs. If you're a dirty DJ, you can go to Altcoin Drip for other coins. We got some cool stuff coming out. Attendees, me and Nikki are working on a really cool crypto course that's just going to kind of give people the tools to success, whether you're new to crypto or maybe a little bit more advanced. There'll be different modules for everyone to use, so look forward to that. Our one and only beard only Markable is helping editing that, so shout out to him. Yep, he'll have a promo code for his hard efforts. So look forward to all that stuff coming out. I really enjoyed the show. Thanks for having me, Cabana.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're a host, and one day
thanks for having me.
we will get the beard to finish the process of doing our intro. He's on the list, but I know he is.
I'm not gonna
working.
lie. We probably sideswiped him from everyone else's stuff that he's worked on for a while. So sorry.
No, it's my fault on that. I know he's doing stuff for RH Max too. But yeah, Big
guys
K,
don't know he makes really good stuff.
Yes, he does. Where can we find you, Big K?
Worth the wait.
You can find me on Telegram and Twitter at Big Kirkowski, and you can also find me here. And then sometimes getting high on the steak and bake. And then you can also find me on the Highest of Stakes movie. Go take a look at that.
With your
Vince.
fam.
Yeah.
Hey.
That's about it.
Peter, where can we find you?
You mostly you cannot find me. From time to time, I appear on Wake Up.
You're in the shadows on Telegram.
You could not find me.
Yeah. And I'm doing my once a week stream, like Slovak stream on Discord Syndicate every Sunday. And just trying to onboard people here around here. And
How about Wake Up Hex?
Yeah,
Wake Up
exactly.
Hex. Are you on that show? Wake Up Hex.
Yes, from time to time.
Okay, Wake Up Hex. Discord Syndicate.
Discord Syndicate.
Tuesdays and/or Thursdays, 10 Eastern, I believe.
Cabana knows your show better than you, Peter.
That's right. I'm just trying to help you out, bro.
Let me shill for you.
And Randy Hilarski, who I don't have to shill too much for because he is in a 30-day little mini marathon over on his channel.
Yeah,
great
covering
streams.
Shemitah and the
Shemitah.
inner workings of the Catholic Church. No, but
So I also want to shill Odyssey. I believe that always decentralize your stuff. Connect your YouTube channel to Odyssey to make sure your stuff does not get taken down. And Float, looks like Float apps can actually start getting serious pretty soon. They're another decentralized, or I shouldn't say decentralized, but backed by anarcho-capitalists. So it's going to be a good place to have our content and not have to worry about getting deleted or censored.
boom. And Benny brings up a funny point. Las Vegas trips, or the Las Vegas trips, there's always a dip, LMAO. If y'all are looking for some cheap hacks, I wish you the best of luck. But yeah, we'll see. To whoever referenced to me as Todd Bod, I tried to looking up the handle on Twitter. Apparently, Jane Watson has owned that handle since April 2009.
Wow.
She has 3 followers, so she's squatting on it. Stop squatting on the Todd Bod, Jane. So, all right. That's all for this week. Thank you to the guests. Thank you to the chat. Another fun show in the books, and we'll be back next week. So take care, everybody. Cheers.